Good morning, guys, from Haines Junction on the Alaska Highway. It's a brisk morning today. It's about 9:30. The sun is starting to come up over there. We stayed the night in the camper. It was -9 this morning when we woke up. We stayed in Destruction Bay. Normally we camp in the when we're on the Alaska Highway, more rural stretches, but this is like the coldest we have ever camped in this thing. So we wanted to be somewhere where if things went wrong, there were services available, because it is dire up here if, it's -9. Enough said. So yeah, we're topping off the tank and making our push on the Alaska Highway. And this is the second video from the journey. So make sure you catch the first one if you're jumping in on this one. But it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be unique.
I'll wait till the morning. I'll fight this alone. On my road to ruin, I'll follow you home. Whenever we'll get there, we'll start with a name. Two kinds of behavior. I'll take 3 from the team and play again.
Despite being -9 when we woke up in Destruction Bay this morning, we were surprisingly comfortable and cozy in the back of the truck. The Wallace stove kept the cabin perfectly warm. The S-bar hardly had to click on. The weak links in the cabin are showing themselves, and next time we stop, we'll take you back there and show you what we're talking about. But the Fuso, as per usual, is a rock star, and this is exactly why we purchased this truck, because we didn't want to ever have to worry about traversing roads of this nature. And between the fact that we have the S-Par, which warms the engine while we're sleeping in the back, and the four-wheel drive components of the truck, it's just exactly what we hoped it to be, and is working stupendously.
So yesterday we covered about 470 miles, which was pretty darn good considering that stretch always seems to take forever. Just between the canyon outside of Palmer, the frost heaves on the Toke Cutoff, the frost heaves by the Canadian and US border, it is just slow going. And for the most part, with road conditions as well, we were only cruising about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Today, we're cruising 62.
We always say one of these times that we drive the Alcan, we're gonna take our time and really enjoy Canada and all of the places along the way that it offers. It's not gonna be this time though. This is a very inhospitable environment. We are not dilly-dallying our way down the road. It's already kind of unique because we do really have to drive in the dark in order to make any kind of time at all. We're trying to balance it with stopping at the hot springs and doing some enjoyable things like that, but this is kind of all business. We gotta get down the highway, get to warmer temperatures, and better road conditions.
All right, our first stop of the day, aside from that gas break, is at Takini Hot Springs. We need a shower. It's been 2 days, and who doesn't enjoy soaking in hot water? The fact that we're able to heat the cab with the coolant from the engine while we're driving, we're not level, is a game changer, because it's 65 degrees in here right now. So you remember Beck mentioning that there are the weak links of the camper that we knew about, and they are showing themselves. So now it's time to show them to you. So I'm not sure what the proper term is, but we have an aluminum walled camper, and it's not composite, and there's styrofoam in the walls, but metal conducts electricity. It also transfers or conducts hot and cold. So that is actual frost that is on some bolts that kind of go into the frame of the camper. And this isn't too unusual for campers, but there's frost forming on the door frame and those little screws that hold the RV lock are frosting up as well. And the other weak link in our camper has to do with the gray tank. It's outside of the box. The box is completely exposed, but the gray tank is on the outside. And despite putting, I don't know, about a quart of RV antifreeze down the sink and down the shower, that line has froze up again, which renders our sink pretty much useless. Which then in turns to doing your dishes in a bowl and tossing it outside.
I think we mentioned that we put new struts in, but I don't think we've actually shown you. Ta-da!
Yes.
And I am so happy this works so well, because then you just close it and sit down to eat. This isn't like wasted space then.
The Wallace has been a rock star. So that's our stove for cooking. Put the lid down, and you have a heater. So we obviously know that composite walls are where it's at, but everybody has a budget, and we still feel very fortunate to have this camper, despite the walls. It's kind of amazing. We have all the right components otherwise, but the walls. But composite walls, they do come at a price, guys. We were very warm back here last night. It was so great. But this camper is definitely not capable of sustaining long periods of time in this climate. We can traverse it, drive through it, but sustain for a long period of time, no. And once we get to a drier climate, we are gonna have to open everything up and let it air out, probably several times.
Well, we're making it easy today. Turkey sandwiches from turkey that I roasted or cooked in the Instant Pot. And then salmon chowder. It's smoked salmon chowder from our friend Margaret. We ate dinner with them the last night we were in Alaska, and they sent leftovers with us.
Well, now it's time to charge up the battery on this camera and get cleaned up and get our soak on. Back on the road, all cleaned up. We have a driver switch. Beck's taking the wheel, leaving Whitehorse right now. It felt good to enjoy Takini Hot Springs. I hope the footage turned out for you because devices and batteries do not like sub-Z weather. We are just gonna keep pushing. I don't know exactly where we're gonna stop for the night, but we do kind of still want to stay somewhere where there might be a human being, just in case something goes wrong with all the redundant heating systems on the camper through the night. So we'll just take it as it goes, but either way, we're gonna have to drive when it's dark. We have stopped for the night in Watson Lake. The next big place really doesn't exist until Fort St. John, so it's a calculated move. There's some truckers here parked on the street, but we're right across the street from a very famous landmark on the Alaska Highway, the Signpost Forest. And well, there's a Breaking Bad motorhome right there, and there's a couple semis. But yeah, it's somewhere around 0 to -10, depending on which thermometer you look at. But
which doesn't feel so cold until the nose hairs in your nose freeze, and then you're like, oh, it's pretty cold out there.
Yeah, well, check this out. The struggle is real, guys. It is that bitterly cold on this journey. I wanted to touch on one thing real quick, guys. It's our electrical system, solar and batteries. The sun this time of year, solstice is literally less than a week away. It's low on the horizon and it doesn't stay up for long. Panels are not getting much of anything. So fortunately, we have these Battle-Born lithium batteries and they have been amazing. We have not gotten below, waking up, below 65% left on the battery. Let's see if that shows up. But this little Victron app is amazing. So right now, I have 47.3 coming in because there's that little switch where I can link the alternator to charge the house batteries, and I have it flipped right now. But when we arrived, we were at 96%. I'm just topping it off because we're gonna be running the heat all night.
That's wrap for tonight. We will see you in the morning.